What up? This is Normies, Brown Pat, Mickey, D, Mikey.
I'm sorry.
We're here with The Last Dance reaction number 8. I believe this is a Steve Kerr episode. I overheard it.
I think this is number 7. This is number 7? No, it is 8. It is 8.
Last time was
baseball. I can't count on this show.
Last time was baseball.
Baseball, okay.
Last time was
baseball.
a baseball episode, and he left, and then it was the role model episode. His struggle to be a role model.
Being in Chicago when Michael Jordan to play ball, it was weird because he was extremely normal. We had never seen him and do anything athletically normal, and it was just weird. It was just weird to see him striking out. It was weird to see people who we didn't know, Chicago has 2 baseball teams.
It's like Superman Human.
Yeah, bro. It was like literally watching Superman watch Superman go be a janitor. And then imagine if he wasn't good at it. That's what it was with Mike. So I will give him credit though. His manager was Terry Francona, and Terry Francona obviously went on to win a bunch of World Series, the Red Sox and stuff. He has a really good baseball mind, and he said he would have made it to the bigs. He said he wrote he said I could not believe that he batted his batting average.
Yeah.
He said
he was gradually getting better.
He was gradually getting better.
It's just he was starting a new career, so if he would have followed the average timeline, he probably would have been. He
probably would have been good, really, really good.
Low key, if he would have stuck with baseball, he'd probably been the best.
I don't know about that. But if he was as a kid, he would have stuck with it. Yeah.
But look how quickly he was able to pick up baseball in a short amount of time, and how good he was in that short amount of time. If you think about if he had that kind of practice along with skill and pick up the skills over time, he probably would have been probably one of the best.
Can you imagine? Because during that time, I don't know if people baseball fans, Michael Jordan and King Griffey Jr.
Oh yeah, and then what was Mark McGuire?
Just came out with the McGuires and Sosa's.
Yeah, that was nice.
Steroids. Dude, if you're looking back at it, it was they kind of overshadowed King Griffey. It's he was the guy. If it wasn't for the steroids, it would have been.
You want to know why? You want to know why? Because he belittled the end of his career. Even in a sense,
it didn't even register me. The guy was kind of what Bronny James.
No disrespect to Sammy Sosa and Mark McGuire. Neither one of those dudes for the duration of their career was a star that King Griffey Jr. was.
I agree with you.
Yeah, neither one of those Sammy Sosa and Mark McGuire were not the stars of the duration of his career.
I agree with you. What it was his last 5 to 7 years, more around that, bro. They're mediocre.
Very. We might have to cover that 3 one time, but
that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
All right, ready? Well, let's get into it. Remember, it's not a market substitute. This is on Netflix now. Remember how we were talking about that? It happened. It's gone off of Hulu. So we had a marketing plan for the release of the show, but as you know, the recent events on the channel fuck that up completely. But here we are. You're still enjoying it with us. It's on Netflix. Check it out there. Then come back and enjoy our reactions and reviews. I'm sure we're done with this by now, and it's up on our Patreon. If you want to get ahead, check it out over there. You can support us there if you want. You don't have to. You can join for free for just updates. But if you support us, it helps us grow the channel. We also have Normies Gaming. We're gaming there. We got twitch.tv/the Normies TV.
Yes.
We're everywhere. So check us out. Comment, subscribe, because that's the best thing you can do for us.
Mickey also strips on weekends. You should come check it out.
I do.
The beard in the hair.
It's the noon show. I got my foot in the door.
There you go. Quite the gamer.
I'm sorry.
Let's do it. We don't have to sync anything. We're in this. Here we go. Netflix. And Netflix doesn't bleep out the cuss words.
Oh yes. Me and you said that. That was important. We saw the episode with Michael Jordan cussing out his teammate. He was calling them hoes and bitches, and we didn't hear it. Yes.
I gotta go back and watch this shit.
For real.
He was calling them hoes.
Y'all be a bunch of hoes.
It would change.
Say something that talk your shit now, hoe.
Again, I was playing for Charlotte. Let's just be honest. The Bulls were a far superior team, and they knew it.
Oh man, this is gonna be awesome watching it on Netflix because the cussing thing really does change a lot.
It's huge. Me and D was trying to tell y'all it's like to hear Michael Jordan call them bitches.
It's like listening to a radio edit of a hip hop
song.
It's not the same. It's just not the same.
It's not the same.
We lost the first one, but I felt I knew that system as well as anybody, and I knew how to beat them.
Did you?
Got that look in his eyes.
Man, they found some perfect ass clips for this documentary. Like whoever edited this together. Think about that. You got to sift through decades worth of footage. Decades worth of
20
footage.
years.
Look at that. That was his mistake.
Playoffs, knowing what I knew about the Bulls, what I knew about
Celebrating.
Michael.
He got with the mid-range. I remember this. And then I remember this.
Mistake.
Look at the score of that game. Hey, Pat, look at the score of that game, by the way. It was 76-70 in the fourth quarter, bro. Like,
with 17 to go.
yeah.
That's like what, like third quarter?
That's like halftime, maybe. Like, I mean, I'm seeing it's pretty bad. But you're right, like third quarter.
Why do you think that is? I want to ask that in the
Pace of play.
Pace of play.
Pace of play went up. More shots.
Quicker, and you started from the 3. You don't even care about the mid-range anymore.
Exactly.
Now,
You know, I'm supposed to kill this guy. You know, I'm supposed to dominate this guy. And from that point on, I did.
Me and Syed played basketball against each other, and like not too long ago, he like almost beat me, and it made me so mad. Like the next 3 games was so bad for him. Like it made me so mad that he almost beat me. He shot a shot and it rammed out, and I was like, "Oh you bitch!" Like I was like, "Oh you bitch." Syed can hoop, by the way. Shout out to Syed. I swear he can.
And it was a former Bull, B.J. Armstrong, whose jumper with 18 ticks left sealed the win for Charlotte.
Michael holds himself to such a high level. You know, when you played as long as he did, at the level he did.
People think these players don't watch these news reports about him. Like,
these little slights were deep indignation statement. That's all he needs. I mean, that's like throwing me.
Back to that editing, bro.
This is after they lost, man.
Right.
It's after they lost.
You think I should be? So what? We lost one game. You don't care.
This is one of my favorite parts of the whole thing, I swear to God.
I'll fight them all.
EJ hitting that shot, staring the whole bench down and whatnot. It just didn't sit well with Michael. And we knew, when the locker room said, listen, guys, we're going to have a dog fight from here on out because we have woke Michael Jordan up.
Yeah.
That's all right.
This is my favorite after a loss.
Instead of.
It just does fucking shit.
Man.
That's where it starts. That's the sign of a good man. You can talk shit when it's even score, or talk shit when you're behind score. When you're ahead, it's easy to talk.
Yes, bro. You gotta love it, bro. You gotta love it.
But then when you...
Those Jordans, man.
He was just so chill, like it's going.
But you know he's like seething, bro.
Yes.
On the inside, he's like seething.
Yes.
It's like
Can't
that.
wait to play basketball tomorrow. Like
It's that simmering anger.
Look how calm and relaxed they are.
But like, think about how good you gotta be for somebody to beat you and for it to break like your confidence after beating somebody. Because you know you gotta do it 3 more times. Like it's just man.
He came after me in the rest of the series, especially that next game.
Can't stick him, man.
So the Hornets.
Talking good shit.
EJ Armstrong night only 2 points on one side.
On the bench. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Take them to church.
That was like me on Call of Duty earlier today. I wanted y'all to see that.
The fact of the matter is, in my opinion, if Michael Jordan had stayed with baseball, he would have gotten to the major leagues. But when the baseball strike started in '94, Major League Baseball came up with what was a really dumb idea of trying to start the season with replacement players.
Today in spring training camps across the nation, replacement baseball players facing...
There was a strike that year. They asked him to cross the picket line. Michael said, no, I'm not doing it.
Thank you, Jesus, that baseball did that. Thank you, baseball.
It started to come to my mind, maybe you can go back. Scotty actually on TV with the shoes up, telling me to come back.
That was part of the commercial when Michael Jordan came back. Scotty doing it, he put that clip into the Michael Jordan Nike commercial when he came back.
Nice.
It was dope.
I wrote 3 or 4 different versions, press release, for him to announce that he was coming back. But he just didn't feel comfortable that it captured what he wanted to say. So I gave him pen and paper, and he just wrote.
The heralded return of basketball superstar
Oh man, look at those
got off to a rocky
uniforms.
start. His shooting touch was missing, and his shorts were on backwards.
Oh no. They would catch the shorts on backwards like that.
Not playing at Disney ending for Michael Jordan, but he's back.
Hey, don't fucking touch me.
That long, just how much the body had changed. I was very unsure that he could perform. That just added more pressure to prove he's still Michael Jordan.
He wasn't. 45 Michael Jordan was not Michael Jordan.
Never being satisfied.
It was a wash.
It was a wash. He just made us eat our words.
Almost did.
All the world's a stage when your name is Michael Jordan. So the spotlight shines brightly on your triumphs, also burns intensely on your mistakes. On Sunday in Orlando, Jordan had more than a bit part during the closing scene in Game 1. Michael's got the ball in his hands, not any longer. Hey, to the former Bull, Horace Grant, managing by one.
That was an N1 too. We got fouled.
We got
When
that.
Michael came back from playing baseball, Nick Anderson stole his rock. The reason that stood out, you hadn't seen anybody take Michael's rock in a long time. It's like watching Muhammad Ali in the second half
He
of
lost
his
track of
career.
him. He was the slip
Pointing at
behind.
someone
Yeah,
like
Court vision,
yeah.
had it.
Whoa, you
After the game, Nick Anderson said, he was like 45, isn't 23. Oh, man.
Bro, you guys don't learn your lesson. Learn your mistakes from the
Think
other.
about what happened with the series. If they had that game and he lost it, and then like the next game happened. Like imagine if they would have won this game.
When we met them the next game, MJ just
Thank you, Nick Anderson too, because the 2-3 came back because of Nick.
Ooh, shit. Get that shit out of here. Oh my god.
Chicago gets the win, 104-94. Jordan unretires number 23, shocks the world. Bulls win game 2. Chicago Bulls pulled even with the Orlando Magic.
go back to Chicago.
Jordan had the legs to last throughout
He was
the playoffs.
exhausted though.
Looking back, I didn't have enough time to get my body back to a basketball body.
I don't remember seeing Michael Jordan
Exhausted.
8 seconds on the shot clock. Anderson go against Kukoc. You can take it to the basket.
Get him. Get him.
This is my home court. That's what he said.
That face.
Yeah, alright. He said, alright.
That was one of Michael's lowest points when they came back and they didn't win. He hated the fact that Blue Horse was on the other team when they beat him. And just to watch all the celebrating that they were doing, I think that's what he took to heart.
Sensitive.
He used that for that next year.
You don't know that.
The season.
72 and 10, baby. Like
Told you
baby,
you said.
72 and 10 happened because of this.
He said, if you're going to sit down and take 3 hours out of your day to watch me on TV, I have an obligation to give you my best. To give you my best all the time.
Great Tim Grover. Tim Grover helped. He's the one that helped Kobe fix his knee, Pat.
And Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
Is this a Space Jam commercial?
Yes.
Oh my god, I wish we got footage of these runs, like better footage.
NBA superstar.
This movie is fucking goat.
It is.
You know that Space Jam
It's amazing.
was not as important as getting back and playing basketball at the level he wanted to play at. I said, I need practice. I need to so I can work out. I spent 15 months turning my body into a baseball body. So I had to reconstruct my whole body, which was hard. And then after we would finish, we would invite people over and play pickup games.
People.
That was disrespectful.
The idea, we invited the best players in the league out here. People would get a chance to see everybody before the season started. And then it became like a thing. Everyone had to come out to Warner Brothers Studio to play against Michael Jordan.
What?
And if you peep,
And this was his opportunity.
Dennis
for him
Rodman
to
was there. Might be
see
how he
everybody.
actually got to the
story
Bulls, bro.
reports.
Yeah.
Chris
I didn't think about that.
This is
I didn't
what
think about
Chris
that. Dennis Rodman was hooping there before he even.
You got it.
Playing against the young talent, they were full of energy, and I had to help excel my talent, get my talents back.
Look at the shoes. The shoes. Must be the shoes, Mike.
One of the best things that could possibly happen, especially everyone keeps losing, is that we lost.
When Michael came back, it was a new team. Scotty was the only one still there from the first championship team. Michael hadn't played with Blue Norman yet. He hadn't played with Judd Bushler and Steve Kerr yet.
Oh, they're not ready for him.
You can tell he was on a mission.
By the time camp started,
with me mugging his teammates.
so every day at training camp was just a war. Every day was a battle. And he talked a lot of shit.
I wanted them to understand what it felt like to be in the trenches. And if you don't understand it, then you're not going to respond when the war starts. Steve, Luke, they come in riding high on the 3 championships that we won in 91, 92. And they had no fucking anything to do with it.
I love it.
No fucking.
I love the cousin.
We were shit when I got there. We elevated to being a championship quality team.
It really changes everything.
Big time.
Phil sensed my aggression, but he was trying to tone me down, and he starts calling these ticket tags. Next time he did it, I just hauled off the fucking. I said, I fouled Steve Kerr. I said, now that's a fucking foul. He hauled off and hits me in the chest, and I just hauled off and hit him right in the fucking eye. And Phil just throws me out of practice. I'm in the shower, I'm saying, look, I just beat up the little scout on the fucking court. Come back to the Burrows, and I said, please give me Steve Kerr's number.
Didn't even have his number.
It was probably, in a weird way, that's the best thing that I ever did was stand up for myself with him.
He wasn't willing to back down to be a pawn in this whole process.
From that point on, our relationship dramatically.
That's how boys do it.
Hey, I want to say this because he talked about this in the court thing. He was saying, it was comic books, why you ain't punch him in the face? He was like, he's Michael Jordan. Like, you know he's the guy that's paying everybody bills around here. Like,
you punch him in the face, he's not working no more.
The Bulls win 70 tonight. They go down in history as possibly the best team of all time.
Can't argue.
thanks to LeBron, they still are the best team of all time.
Yep, thanks to LeBron.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, it don't mean a thing without that ring.
I mean, the thing without that ring. Especially when you lose it up 3-1.
Best ever anyway.
Look at that shot, baby.
New York Times.
LeBron had his Jordan moment.
Yeah, that was it. That was his moment. That coming back, that was his moment.
I don't think I ever would
Don't mean a thing.
like that on time.
No MJ. Only thing he was doing during the summer, it had Orlando Magic on his mind. That's all.
It's a massacre, Patrick. It's a massacre.
We didn't have a chance.
I mean, it was close.
Swept. That's close. They got swept, bro.
Wait, 106.
Yeah, bro.
106.
No. The game was close, but not the series.
I was looking at the score. I was looking at. Oh yeah. The series, yeah.
Because of last year, the number changed and 45 didn't look like 43 or whatever. But we always disappointed last year. We came back to redeem ourselves as a unit, and I think we did that. In fact,
Effectively.
During the finals, we go out to dinner one night. George Carl's over on the other side, having dinner. And hey, George Carl over there. And George Carl does not come over and speak to him. He walks right past me. Now look at myself. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
Him and George Carl used to talk shit to each other. Like he's talking shit to the coach.
Yeah, during this game.
During the game, yeah.
Damn.
All right, see, now these are blowouts.
Jordan is not like he used to be. He done got a little age. He was off of basketball. I think.
Got a little age. Damn. Oh man. Shots fired.
The call against Chicago. Offensive foul on Michael Jordan.
Gary really got into him, was talking shit to him.
Patrick Beverly plays defense just like him. Same exact way. Same exact way.
Let's be real. Vegas just needed another game.
Pretty much.
Damn. I made it a point. I said, turn the fuck out. And I kept hitting him and banging him and hitting him and took a toll. And then the series changed. And I wish I
it was a difference.
That's that laugh from the
the head shake, the wiggle.
The glove.
I had no problem with the glove. I had a lot of other things on my mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy Father's Day today, Colorado.
People said the conspiracy was he lost that game because he wanted to win it on Father's Day.
Yeah.
And they said he lost the game. He kept passing the ball because he wanted to win it on Father's Day. I don't believe that.
Because he's a competitor.
He's a competitor. I don't believe. You know, Mike never lost a game on purpose in his life.
James was always there.
But if there was ever one,
I put my money on that one, Mickey. I put my money on that one.
but I don't think so.
Right next to him.
Nah,
There's too many variables to fuck with.
way too many.
That must have been a tough ass game to play.
Oh man.
He thought back to when he won his first championship and he was crying on the Larry O'Brien trophy and his father was right there over his shoulder.
Man.
And now they're back in the finals. His father wasn't there to share it with him.
The music, bro. They killed it on the music.
They're on point with it.
Yes.
He was so strong for the rest of us. He said, Mom, I know he's there. He's watching. He sees.
Those are the best pair of J's he's wearing right there. Those are my favorite ones of all time.
It was still a close game.
I mean, Seattle was a great team.
Yeah.
They were really good on defense too. They're really good at stopping the
They weren't really supposed to go to 7. They were 6 games anyway.
Michael, I know that the first one was sweet, but how much sweeter was this one?
Well, I can't even put it in words. My father's just like this. I know it's possible. My wife, my kid, my mother, my brothers and sisters. This is my daddy. I'm very happy for him.
You can see a more question right here.
Yeah, this is when he felt the breakdown. They had the sound from this one.
Can you imagine just like having the type of life where even in a vulnerable moment like this, you got photographers right over your ass?
You hear them? Listen. So, before this documentary, we never had the sound from this clip. We always had the viewing of it. You got to hear him like he was like sobbing, like his dad just died again, like sobbing.
We're just over 40 minutes from the tip-off of the Eastern Conference Finals between Indiana and Chicago.
Yeah, we could have won this.
Can the Pacers end the Jordan era?
Michael Jordan would have laughed at y'all too on the pamphlet, like with a deep still.
He even said this is the toughest team he's ever played.
He did. I'm not disrespecting y'all. I'm just.
He would have laughed. He even said this is the toughest team he's ever played.
He's like deep. I never struggled with Reggie.
He struggled.
They were considered the best at that time. I feel to this day, we were the better team.
I do too.
The thing is, there was whispers that this was going to be,
Winners get wings,
So,
that's what this is.
Man, this is what I've been waiting for.
They did go the next year, or the year after.
all right, this is it.
This team did
You're
go.
going to retire, Michael Jordan.
That's where you fucked up. That's where you fucked up.
Hey, Pat, if you want to be the great, you got to be the great.
Oh, I got you.
The real reason why they was the toughest is because their best player, he thought whole time, I'm retiring Michael Jordan. I love Reggie Miller. He wasn't that big.
That's
he was
our city
competitive. Man.
Before Manning, that's our. We got a big old mural of Miller on one of our buildings.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Y'all never showed me that, man. I want to see that shit.
I mean, it's like
right here.
Yeah, it's right by
You seen it?
There's no way you haven't seen
We're gonna see. I don't remember that.
Hey, there's a big old mural of
Y'all probably seen it so much. It's like, Reggie Miller was a great player, man.
This is what I've been waiting for. So I came here in '96. So this is the years where I was.
You were in tune with what was
where we're
going
like
on.
really in tune with. So yeah, this was really fun rivalry to watch, and even like I mean it was always Pacers and Bulls in the finals, or like you said Knicks. Like it was only like a handful of teams. Like you always knew who was going to go to the finals.
Right.
And it was like even when we lost, it was just like you were watching Michael Jordan play. So it's like we weren't even mad about it, really. You know what I mean? It was just like it was such an entertaining time. Mm-hmm. You know, it was just. I mean, I guess for me, it was just like very, very just entertaining to watch.
It was some of the best times. So like, far as like basketball goes, those are the glory days.
Oh man,
those are the glory days back during that time. Like that was some of the best.
'95 to like 2002 or 3. Like,
I was in 2003 for sure.
Yeah. I mean, like people don't understand. Like Pat, you probably would how much like Shaq and Kobe saved the NBA. Like having like that's the NBA
Iverson being
needs
the
those
cultural
super teams.
icon when he came in.
Yeah,
Like that shit helped too.
I also feel like even like I think after Jordan left, the NBA wasn't focused on like one superstar; they're focusing on a lot of them.
Yeah,
I think that's what saved the NBA.
AI kind of picked up.
It wasn't
Vince
just
Carter
one.
was the MJ.
As a matter of fact, Pat, I'm not disagreeing with it. I really think that they knew Michael Jordan showed the blueprint. The blueprint of like how to do it. If you elevate a guy above everybody else, even if like you make him like the prize fighter, the championship belt holder, like, and that's what like AI became. Because honestly, if you think about it, they were desperate. I'm not trying to say AI wasn't good. AI was great. He was phenomenal. But like, he didn't really win much. He scored a lot. He won MVP, but like,
and he also didn't fit the model, like like the NBA wanted to portray.
Yeah. They were praying the whole time Kobe became the guy they needed him to be. I'm not playing. Like they needed somebody to take the mantle of being the face of the NBA. When there was no face, we had dark days in the NBA. When Mike first retired, it was dark days. Reggie Miller never was the face. No. He couldn't get other cities to root for him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
He was too. I mean, like he didn't have that.
Shaq had it.
Shaq had it.
Miller was very. I mean, I don't know.
Shaq was a decent
guy. I might be wrong about this, but Miller was like a lot more reserved. I would say he didn't.
I mean, he played in Indiana.
I don't know, bro.
He didn't have that like outwardly personality.
He played in Indiana.
If he played for the Lakers, when he almost left,
it would have been over with.
If you played with the Lakers, you would know more about his like. Because I don't think you would know because I watched the 30 for 30, but like Miller on the court. He was just like Jordan.
He was
just like Jordan on the court.
Yeah. Well, he talked a lot of shit. People say Reggie Miller was the biggest shit talker of all time.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. He was a savage, bro. That's why I
love Miller.
I respect him because like for him to be you gotta remember, like they used to murder Reggie for being called. He was called a finesse guy. It was like you bumped. What I'm saying, like he couldn't get physical.
You couldn't touch him, or it would be foul.
Oh, he was ridiculous, but they talked about him for that. Like he was considered like a finesse guy.
The first person to really like perfect the flop. Like really,
he did. Because he kicked his legs out. He was a leg kick.
His legs out.
But Reggie Miller was the first Steph Curry, though. People don't give him enough credit for it.
Oh, he was the first
Steph. Steph got the hand. It was like Clay, really. More like Clay, because he was
a catch and shoot guy. But I was a huge fan of Reggie Miller because I felt like it's something that we embodied with Chicago. He was fearless. Like Reggie Miller wasn't scared.
He needed a good rivalry too.
Yeah, that's why I was scared of Reggie. I was scared of Reggie because Reggie Miller, when you watch him play ball against Mike, he was the only dude out there who never looked scared.
Yeah.
Reggie never looked scared.
And when he gets hot,
it's over.
It's over.
Oh, he used to have this angry ass mean mug he wore all the time. He talk shit to Mike.
He said Black Jesus. He only called Mike Black Jesus.
He did.
And I think it was during these years that like that moment that I'm talking about, like the Mike's famous buzzer beater. Yeah. There's one specific one where I remember it was like the wide angle of the entire stadium, and you just see it was like dead silence. You could hear a pin drop, and then just. It was like watching bass come off the speaker. Like everybody stood up at the same time. Like it was fucking.
So how y'all feel about Mike in the Steve Kerr fight? How y'all feel about?
I first off, like Steve Kerr, I'm not surprised. Like everyone said, like why should not hit him in the face? Because like that's Jordan. You can't hit Jordan in the face because if you try to work the next day,
that's how you get fucked.
That's how you get fucked.
But respect to him because that's like Jordan said. I think the celebrity that Jordan is that he talked a lot of shit, and I think that a lot of people probably wanted to do what Steve Kerr did, but they were probably able to be more reserved about it, or keep in mind that he's the breadwinner. Nobody had the balls to ever stand up.
That's a good point.
Nobody ever had the balls to really stand up to him. Yeah. And once Steve Kerr did, you heard Jordan say, like, it kind of brought him back down.
I think it's in the next episode,
and he recognized respect for Steve Kerr.
The next episode,
don't spoil it.
No, I'm saying you get more of a backstory on who Steve Kerr is, and then that'll kind of that whole like scene or something will kind of make sense of like
gotcha.
To me,
why he's not afraid to like step up.
He ain't afraid of nothing. He ain't afraid of shit. I feel like
he's cold.
That part right there is why like it brings you full circle to like the last dynasty we saw was Steve Kerr coached team.
Yeah. And almost break his own record.
And he was out trying to break his own record. And I think it comes from like he said it in a little clip. I learned a lot about Steve Kerr watching this. Like he's like, I'm competitive too. Even though he ended it with a joke, like, I just never was good enough to back it up. Like, he's a competitive person. Like, to think about like him being the guy who fought Michael Jordan, being the coach of your team in the NBA,
and that's dope. The thing about like celebrities at that level. Like, I mean, I know we're talking about like athleticism and like a competitive thing, but even just like celebrity psychology at that level, they don't get told no a lot. They don't have a lot of obstacles in their way. So for somebody to stand up to him, like you could, I mean, he was dwelling on it for the rest of the day. It brought him back down to earth. Yeah. You know, like
Mike probably needed that.
I respect his tough love style. Like in hindsight, I get what he was trying to do, but like it's very easy to like lose sight of that and become more
too big for yourself.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Nobody's bigger than the goal, and the goal is to be a team and win a championship. Yeah. And that was a reminder of him.
He needed to check that day.
But also, nobody's Jordan either.
No.
Yeah. Nobody's Jordan. Like, you ain't winning a championship without Jordan either. So,
with great power comes great responsibility, and I like how he owned it. He got his number, he called him, he apologized. Yeah. And like Steve Kerr, he talked about it. He talked about this in an open court when all the coaches started. He talked about how the fight with Michael Jordan. He said like that it was huge. He said me and Michael Jordan we were okay, but like we became close after that fight. Mm-hmm. We like talked.
They had to from top to top. It was like Jordan had to apologize.
He talked about how he was big and like we won a ring with Steve Kerr the year after this. And he talked about how, like, at a timeout, you're going to see the clip where Mike tells him, like, hey, at this next one, I'm going to give you the ball. Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw it to you. And, like, Steve Kerr talked about how, like, that fight is what, like, made him trust me. That we didn't have those type of talks. Yeah, but I used to have those type of talks. Mike wasn't going to huddles talking to Steve Kerr. Like, he wasn't talking to me. So, so how do you feel about the progression of what we see him, how Mike maneuvered through, how he dealt with his emotions, dealing with his dad? Do you feel like?
Oh man, that must have been such a tough game, and even just like the whole year coming back from baseball. But I guess that's the thing about like Mike's personality is he gets so angry because like I mean we know he's Mike, he knows he's Mike, but but there's also like a sense of humbleness to him in the sense that he pushes his team like, hey, I can do this, you can do this too. Just follow my lead, you can do this too.
He said that.
But the truth is, can we though, Mike? Can we though?
But really though, they were like on vacation without him. Like that whole team, like that year and a half. Or
not listening to the.
They didn't have the pressure of their screaming. They were on vacation, really. They like he said,
they loved it. They loved it.
He was like they were riding off that high still from the 3 review ones. They're like, all we have to do is make playoffs. That's like what their mentality was. He's like, nah, you gotta kill and win.
Yeah.
Like,
but my favorite part, one of my favorite parts from the whole docu-series is when like after they lost to the Hornets, he had the bat in his locker, bro, and he pulled out the cigar. He's like, oh, you think I'm supposed to be mad because we lost the first one? Oh no!
It's like
you should go back and
it's like that baseball bat scene from what was it, Godfather?
Yeah.
You should go watch that Scott Burrell episode again. Cause like the cussing, oh my god,
it changes everything.
Like you hear like the way he talks to Scott Burrell, you're like, man, if a grown man said that shit to me, we're throwing hands on
shit now, bitch. I'm like, damn,
like, really, like
I think it's because the Hulu version was like the live TV version. Yeah, that's why we had the commercials and shit.
But I'm telling y'all, when you guys go back, you see
it brings the realness into it because like
it changes everything.
When I was watching this reaction, I was like,
he got the worst. Scott Burrell, like the worst. Like it was when people watched it, like the people at Chicago radio, like the next day, like Scott Burrell, like they literally had like called Scott Burrell in and got him in to talk to Carmen Yurko on like Chicago ESPN 1000, and it was like, bro, this is kind of awkward, but like, how do you feel after watching, everybody, like millions of people see you get cursed out? And Scott Burrell said he owned it. He's like, so first of all, I have no problem with it. Because I play with the best basketball player of all time. They got to work out with him, play basketball with him every day. He said, you don't understand, like, they see all the cussing and stuff. He said, but he helped me grow. Yeah. He said, like, I literally broke out of every mental hold I thought I had because Michael Jordan made me believe I could do. He said he treated me like shit sometimes, but he made me feel like I could do anything.
It's almost like military training. Like you don't have any choice but to do it. Yeah. Like no is not an option. Like he didn't make no the option. Like you were doing this. Like period. Like. Right. But what was crazy to me is finding out all the background stuff on Space Jam. Like I didn't know
those runs.
They built a fucking gym stadium
complex.
For him.
A whole
and like that was just for him. And the games they would have inviting people and everybody, which low key is like, hey, come on, hang out. But he's really just scouting everybody. He's like, let me see how y'all doing.
So like Reggie Miller had said that he thought so. Like when he talked about it. Reggie Miller said that he knew they had a good team. He said the only reason I went out there to that Space Jam set is because Mike was having those runs. We all knew Mike was coming back to play ball. And he said, I literally went there as a spy. Y'all need to look this up. You can find this. Reggie Miller talks about
he used to work out. You see it all the time.
And he talked about he went over. I literally went over there just as spy.
Because his office and he spent in LA. Richie's from LA. He is from LA. So he always spent time with UCLA. Even he talked about it. He goes, when Kobe first got drafted and before he got drafted, he used to see him at UCLA.
That shooting schedule and his workout schedule, that's a good example of him trying to push his drive into others. Like, hey, you can do this too. Right. But this man, I've been on call-out sets. Like, I've been a production assistant on sets. Like, it is very meticulous. Like, you got to show up. Like, I mean, you
got to execute.
It's boring for the talent because they're just sitting around the whole time. That's why they built that whole gymnasium for him so he can like get his shit in. But like. Yeah. To be on call from 6 to all day shoot, like shooting is a very grueling thing, even for the talent on set. Like that in and of itself is grueling. On top of that, you're working out. On top of that, you're playing pickup games with like all stars of the NBA. Yeah. On top of that, you're doing further training. Like your drive is exceptional, bro. Like
Reggie said, this guy's a vampire. Yeah, he's not real.
I think Michael wanted to believe that anybody can do what I do, but like really, man, it's exceptional.
Dude. I don't know. I think if you have that drive, you can.
But that's the thing, like.
and another thing too. If I could be like Mike,
that's what I'm saying.
If I could be 6'6", 230 something pounds with a 50 something inch vertical, I mean, like everybody can't be Mike.
It's exceptional.
Yeah. Like Steve Kerr says. Like I have the exact same drive as Jordan does. Yeah. I'm exactly as competitive as him. I swim as much, but he has to tell the
Somebody brought that up about the Mike and Kobe comparison. It was like people don't understand. Like we even still now, it took for us to run into LeBron James to run into another athlete that was like Mike. Yeah. Like Mike was a LeBron James like athlete in the sense that like you knew Mike was a different type of athleticism from everybody that was around him. So like I know he was great, but like he had these big ass hands, a 50-inch vertical when he was 6'6". He wasn't walking inside of. He wasn't going to war with just like a pocket knife. Like Mike was going to war with an arsenal. Like he had an arsenal on him. So I mean, do anybody feel like with him leaving baseball only happened because of the strike? Because I do.
Yeah,
I personally feel like Mike might have never came back to basketball if the strike had never happened.
I really think part of him going to baseball, I mean, it was all during his like father's death. I really do think like his step away from basketball was also like a coping kind of thing.
That's legit.
A coping mechanism, a place for him to just kind of pause. Because like obviously his father was there at every single game, so I think it just made him pause and kind of do something else for a little bit, and then that strike made him re-pause and be like, all right, this is cool, but like
I've coped enough.
You know, like this is cool, but
I've cried enough.
Let's go.
It's time to get back to it.
No, it's like he came to baseball to play with the best of the best, not the replacements. So
yeah.
I want to go play with the best of the best. I want to go back to basketball.
And another thing too is I definitely wanted to look bad.
Plus the suspension is over.
He didn't want to look bad to the players that he really came there to play against by crossing over the line as Michael Jordan to play against a bunch of nobodies. And like, if you try to play in the league, like it's not a good look.
Like, how can he gauge the level of his success
if he would have went and played with the replacements, he would have. I mean, it would have been a shit show.
It would have been bad.
It would have been bad. It would have been a shit show, and it's almost like, you know, that kind of solidifies you as like a post Madonna. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, and the players would have never liked him either. The players would have talked all types of stuff like he just trying to steal some shine. Like
Michael,
do that?
Somebody like Michael Jordan playing with a bunch of replacements is just like that's just in a PR standpoint. Like, okay, this dude's run is over. You know, like next kind of thing. Because
PJ Armstrong, was it Gary Payton said he got these a little older. He ain't played basketball in a while. I'm gonna just beat him up. I'm trying to get him tired. And that was the reaction, man. The reaction to the past. The face. He laughed and zoomed in and looked at him.
I think this was probably my favorite episode. And I don't know if it's just because
I think it's the cussing.
The next one will be your favorite.
It's the cussing.
I was gonna say, the next one's really gonna be your favorite one. It's all Indiana.
It's the cussing and also the lack of commercials. So the pacing is just continuous.
Yeah, so much better.
It's definitely a lot better. Yeah, dude. We're finally in the years that I might actually have some input.
I mean, he's saying the next episode it's all Indiana.
Oh my god, I'm so ready for it. All right, well, we will catch you there. Peace. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for watching The Last Dance with the Normies. Check us out on Patreon for early access and uncut content. Special shout out to Aaron, Desiree, Eleanor, Explorin' Dylan, I Eat Pink Tacos, Joe, Jules, Light Yagami, Michael, Nick, Puvy, Quentin, Ricky, Ruby Tiger, Bystander, Tristan, Keyboard Junkie, the NYR Fan, and ZJP. We'll see you all next time.